The Colour Series. It's an introduction to colour, its mysteries, its history, and making it work in our life. This episode is the colour red. The colour red fills us with passion and energy. On the other hand, it's full of anger and aggression. It's always hot. It can never be ignored. It jumps out at us. It is one of the most primal of colours. It is there for our survival, and it's been a force of nature for as long as we can remember. Interestingly though, with colour, it's also the colour of passion and romance. And many a young girl's heart's gone aflutter at a dozen red roses being presented to us. But at the same time, the anger and the aggression really can't be ignored. It jumps out at us. And if you think, it's just like a volcano exploding with a red rage. And that is red. But where does it come from? A little bit of history here. Red is one of the three primary colours. It is also the colour with the longest wavelength. So that's the reason why it's sunrise and sunset. It's one of the few colours that can get through as the sun goes down, because all the other colours are disappearing. They all need light, and red can kind of sneak on in. And interestingly, we're lucky the way we see red, because we don't all see red the same way. Dogs and even bulls actually don't see red. So a dog is chasing after a ball, not a red ball. A bull is chasing after that cape that's annoying it. Whereas monkeys and squirrels, they actually can see red. And that's because they actually do go after berries and those kind of fruits. They need it for survival. But I always say to people, if you're buying your dog a toy that you're going to throw around the garden, for goodness sakes, get it a blue one. It will see it against the grass. It's not going to blend in. But as I mentioned, red is one of the colours that's been around for eons. In ancient civilizations, it did stand for life and health and victory. And it was one of the very early art colours we used. In those days, they used either red ochre or iron ore. And in this image, you'll see a hand has been splattered with red ochre back 25,000 years ago. That's a long time. So, and that is when they wanted to use it, and it was something they revered. And then when you think about the Greek and the Roman civilizations, the ancient ones, they used red to indicate status and wealth. So the higher you were, the more sort of red you had in your clothing. Women also used henna in their hair and nails, but there was another product called madder that they used for the colour. Now, as we came through history, I love this. Louis XIV of France discreetly showed off his wealth by having red heels. Can I tell you, it's not just Louis XIV of France who does red in their shoes. Christian Louboutin has made a whole branding out of the red sole, and many a man will do a double take when he sees a very elegant pair of red stilettos walking in front of him, especially when the rest of her outfit is void of colour. And other cultures have many other reasons for red. Many Asian cultures, red is a colour of good luck, and you'll find many Indian brides will wear red as one of their wedding garments. Whereas here in Western society, red is known for the Scarlet Woman. Interestingly, the Scarlet Woman first appeared in the Bible, a vision St. John had, where he's told about the promiscuousness of red. It now stands for a lot of prostitution, red light districts, and women in red are known to be a little bit more playful, shall we say, than a woman in a very nice, safe blue. That is not to say red is bad, but different cultures will see it. But the interesting thing with red is it is something that will make you stop. It is a colour that we've been trained. When you see it, stop. Let me tell you what you're going to do. Red light cameras, exit signs. Interestingly, little exit signs now being depicted by the green running man, because we tend to know as green, especially with our stop signs, is a colour that makes you go, run. Whereas red can make us sort of go for a minute, oh, I'm going to stop because I've been red carded. Get out of here, not go towards the exit, just stop. What are you doing? I don't like what you're doing. And in sport, red and blue as colours can have totally different impacts on how well you do. Now, a study done back in 2009, this German team found, or German group of scientists, decided to do a bit of study on the outcome of the Olympics. So they looked at the Taekwondo and the Greco-Roman fighting, and they looked at the results of those who did well in red and those who did well in blue. Then they digitally remastered the artwork and turned the red into blue and the blue into red, and guess what? Again, the red scores were higher, even if they were blue to start with. So whilst, sport, it does come down to how well you are. But if the two of you are kind of neck and neck, the judges, the adjudicators, generally give fairer marks to those in red, higher marks to those in red. Here's another little aside. Don't go wearing black. Black's still seen as the baddies, as you would have heard in the last video. But if you can wear red as a colour in a two-team event, generally red is the one that's going to stand out. But remember, red doesn't always have that fabulous connotation. It can mean stop. We've got so many things. Red, communists are red. It's a radical colour. When you think of finance, something, if you don't have a red cent or you're in the red, you've got nothing. It's going down. It's not going up. You get a negative result. But this is what I love about red. It can be negative, then it can be so positive. Because you pop it into a red carpet, you've got instant glamour, and it's prestige, and it's, the lights, the camera, the action. You're a star. So red does have its place. So how do we wear it in our wardrobe? I find it very interesting the difference red has and the connotations on men as it does to women. So, for women, yes, it's about passion and energy and excitement and motivation, but a woman in a lot of red can have those negative connotations of being a little bit promiscuous. But if you want people to listen to you, ladies, you want to make someone here, maybe just lipstick and nail polish. That's what I do when I'm doing presentation. Sometimes a little bit of red to stand out. Evening I might throw some red on. Because remember, women, we do have a tendency to see things flip very quickly, and you can be seen as very aggressive, exhausting to some. And if you are a little bit tired, red can overstimulate and can exhaust you. Don't surround yourself with red when you've barely got an ounce of energy to go, especially if you've got a long journey ahead of you. Do it if you're doing a quick presentation, not if you've got a long lot of work. But here's what I find interesting for men. Men, it's about virility and excitement, energy and passion. Men will do a lot in red in sporting, in exercise clothes, and it doesn't yes, you'll see it seen as anger and aggressive, and they can be seen as wild and opinionated, but doesn't quite have the overall negative aspects that it does for women. So I always say to men, if they want to sort of stand out in a presentation, a red tie. You can't beat it. You want to get on the track, you want to exercise, wear some red. Guys, you're going to look great. But then when we get to branding, red and branding is about stand out, stop, look at me, I'm the best. Virgin Airways, Virgin Money, Richard Branson, Virgin Anything, it's all red. Target, Avis, Vodafone. Coca-Cola, the only reason Santa wears red is because Coca-Cola put Santa in red. I believe it was back in it was the early 1900s, about the 1920s, advertising campaign. He'd been in a deep forest green prior to that. He was St. Nick prior to that. Vodafone, Qantas, and then food companies. Now, KFC, Pizza Hut have red in their logos. Many people think that McDonald's do. They're actually the Golden Arches, but it's in a ring of red. But the interesting thing with red is if you want to raise someone's appetite, if you want to get them hungry, you put red around them. A lot of Italian restaurants will have that red check tablecloth. They know what's going on. Do not put a lot of red in your kitchen. Guess what? You're just going to eat and eat and eat. But it is that colour that will stand out. It is that colour that you can't ignore. So with red, listen to it. Listen to what it has to say, because it is going to talk to you. It is a colour you cannot ignore. And as I say to people, when your day feels dull, wear red lipstick.